gotta really watch out for some of these sketchy boats and their captains. This one coming up in particular is particularly questionable. Well, hopefully we won't pass too close by this guy because I don't trust him. He's got all the room in the world. He's coming right for us. Or that could be someone we know. Sailing vessel Shearwater. Looking good, my man.
Tomorrow.
Coming back tomorrow? All right, right on, man. Wednesday, July 3rd. It's about 10 till 1 p.m. We're headed to the Isthmus of Two Harbors today. It's going to be a little busy for the holiday, but we are rolling, and we'll anchor deep if we have to. We don't care. Looks like there's actually a little bit better wind. It's afternoon in Hurricane Gulch, but I'm seeing 13 knots here in the harbor, which is a good sign that we'll have some wind as we get out. So I went ahead and rigged the hydrovane just in case we get a little bit of wind. I was expecting to motor all the way across. We'll see if this afternoon carries us across the San Pedro Channel or not. So we do have a special guest visitor, me. I'm the guest of the Admiral. Look at that. First time she's been on the boat for a year.
Practically a new boat since I last
It is practically a new boat. She's like, hey, what's that new button? I'm like, oh yeah, replaced that one about a year ago. Well, our only hope is that we've got no issues with seasickness, but really excited to have Debbie on board. Means a lot to me, and hopefully she enjoys it. $20 knots plus coming out of the gulch. Debbie did a nice job. We're going to need to pull that main in a little bit more. Now the halyard. So we'll get that sorted here pretty soon. See if we get things dialed in. All right, hydrovane engaged. We got a hair under 18 knots, true. And we're at about 40 degrees apparent wind. I may back down just a hair. So we got the full main and the staysail deployed. If the wind dies down, we'll go with the Genoa and maybe furl it. But for right now, this feels pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and sail this course. I may drop down, get us a little above 40 apparent. And that'll probably get us a little bit better speed. Mostly settled. So we got this cargo ship coming in here, and another tanker ahead of us, and another one to port. So this is what I've been watching. This is the Lucy Franco. That's long tow. He's changed course, so he's headed into LA. So we'll pass starboard to starboard, and we'll have over a mile between us. These are two tankers that have been heading out, and then we've got one more ship that we need to cross paths with, which is the One Manhattan. That is a 1,201 foot cargo ship. That thing's a monster. 2.42 is our CPA. He is gonna do a little bit of a hook here to port pretty soon. In fact, looks like he's already starting to make his turn. So we'll see that CPA distance close up a little bit. I think we're still going to be okay on our distance. If we have to, we'll come up a little bit, but we may have to do so under power. One Manhattan, sailing vessel keel dragger. One Manhattan, sailing vessel keel dragger. No answer. One Manhattan, sailing vessel keel dragger.
This is One Manhattan replying.
Hi, good afternoon, Captain. Sailing vessel about 3.8 nautical miles off your port bow. Looks like we've got a CPA of about 0.6 miles. Just wanted to see if I'm okay to stay at speed and course, or if I need to adjust. Over.
What is your intention, sir?
What did he say? I'm sorry, I didn't copy.
What is your intention?
33 degrees, 38.32 north, 118 degrees, 17.32 west. Should have me on AIS. Over. I don't know what this guy's doing. So, I mean, we're okay right now, but he's been changing his course. So I just want to make sure he's not going to change his course further. Looks like he's, according to AIS, he's headed into Long Beach. If that's the case, we're fine. I don't see CPA getting less. But this guy's not responding.
I can see you, sir. You're flashing.
Yeah, just want to make sure we're good to hold speed and course. Over, or if you need us to adjust.
Hold my course and speed.
You say maintain? Okay, copy, we'll maintain.
Thank you very much.
Kill Dragger standing by on 16.
Stand by, channel 16, thank you.
We are headed to the Isthmus. Over.
I think I'm a little in front of you. I was hearing your conversation with one Manhattan. That's the boat that's passing in front of the islands.
Yeah, he's passing through right now, so we're gonna come within about a mile of him. Over.
Copy. Can I ask what his speed is?
I'm seeing 7.39er.
Copy. That's helpful. I'm going to tack back into the channel. Go astern a little bit. Going back to 16.
Kill Dragger back to 16. A little over a mile CPA. Alright, there's LizardFisk tacking to avoid a small ship in the shipping lanes. That's one Manhattan. The thing's an absolute monster, 1,200 feet. 12.6 knots of true. We're going back to full canvas, staysail and Genoa. I can learn how to use the self-tailer here. All right, now we're at full canvas. We're from 5 point something to 6 knots plus. Now we're at 6.5. Cruising along, so picked up a little speed, nice. I think we're okay with the main for now. Sails are looking decent. So we'll hold this course and see what kind of speed we can make here. See if we can catch LizardFisk. 6.5 knots, right on course for Two Harbors. See the dip right there for the Isthmus? That's where we're headed. Sails are looking good. The wind's feeling perfect. We're just about out of the northbound shipping lane, so we're almost completely in the clear after all that traffic a little bit earlier. So far the Admiral's holding up, no mal de mer yet as we speak, and seas are relatively flat. So yeah, the winds were, you know, maybe in the high teens, approaching 20 when we left Hurricane Gulch. Settled down to about 12.5 or so, and smooth sailing, full canvas out. This is this boat doing what it's meant to do. Went down a few degrees, eased the head sail out a little bit, and dropped the travel a little bit more on the main. And now we're cruising along a little faster, so we're We have about 50 degrees apparent, but we're cruising along at about 7 knots now, so we definitely got some gains on this. We've got about 5 miles to go, maybe a little bit less than that, so we'll probably sail for about another half hour with the Genoa up, and then we'll slow her down a little bit with the with just the staysail in the main. But here's our bogey right out here sailing, and we'll catch them here before long, I think, at this speed. And here we are with about 16, 17 knots of true with all the canvas up, doing 7 knots. Debbie's taking a nice nap, and we're just flying along. All right, closing in on LizardFisk. We're gonna come in on the lee. LizardFisk had it dialed in there. We had to work a little bit. We caught him, but nice job. Blowing pretty well. Trying to get everything dialed in, and this wind, we're screwing around with full canvas, just kind of right on the edge of reefing, I think. But this has been an awesome adventure here sailing. We're almost to 2 harbors. 2.4 miles out. 4:15. Head sails are in. We're motoring. Motor sailing. Main is still up. We'll get a little bit closer here to the anchorage, then we'll dump the main. Okay, Debbie, what's the synopsis of the journey across here?
I got a pretty good nap.
You got a great nap.
No, the wind was good. Gotta use the sails. It was good.
So a mile to go to the anchorage, and I'm seeing true wind now of like 18.5 knots. So the concern there is dropping anchor and 18.5 knots of wind. Hopefully as we get a little bit closer, the island shields us a little, but it looks like it's going to be windy at the anchorage. About 10 till 8 p.m. Debbie made dinner. We're still here in the same spot. Bird Rock, Ship Rock. Sun is going down. It's absolutely beautiful here, but it's rolly. That's not working out super well with Debbie. About 7:45. Debbie got a little sick. She did well on the sail, got a little sick last night when we came in. It's laid down a little bit. It's still a little rolly. It was really bouncy last night. Yesterday evening, at least. It started to lay down a little bit. So, just wrestled the outboard on. And we're going to do plan B. I think she's going to head back on the Cat Express. And then I'll decide whether I want to deal with this nonsense here at the anchorage or not. But I don't think getting a mooring's going to be much of an option today. Alright, we dropped Debbie off. Had to have a little breakfast. See if we can do a little drive through here and find RiffRaff. I'm going to guess he's on the other side. I don't know how much motor I'm going to do with this stupid thing, but Dinghy Dock is starting to get crowded. It'll be twice as many boats all tied up on top of each other this afternoon. Sailing vessel RiffRaff. What's going on? 5:30 Thursday. It wasn't as bumpy here today as it was yesterday, which is nice. We're gonna go head over to David's boat, sailing vessel RiffRaff here for Captain's Hour and a little bit of tri-tip. So we'll go ahead and get in and arm wrestle the dink and start making our way. Look at this beautiful evening shaping up here. Morning's Friday. It's about 10 till 6 a.m. So I've been up for a couple of hours. Had my coffee already. I'm just kind of screwing around. One thing sailing in, and I'll post some footage that sailing vessel LizardFisk took as I was sailing next to them. Quite a bit of headstay sag, so you know I redid all the standing rigging, and this is it's a Dyneema backstay, which is pretty cool, and this is like a chafe sleeve over the bottom part, and then you have the I don't know, these loops, the kind of tension. And I had a hydraulic backstay here originally, and it was leaking. I had it rebuilt 3 times. I was gonna order, have a new one installed. It didn't work out, so I just put on I had that rigger put on the this turnbuckle with toggle. But you know, as I watched that video and I knew I had a little bit of sag, I really need more tension in the backstay. So I can turn this turnbuckle here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of tension on. I don't know if that's going to be as much as I want or not, so at some point I may need to retension this. But one of the issues, like when you first put on Dyneema, even if it's like the Caligo ducks, which this is it'll creep a little bit. It doesn't stretch a lot, but you get some initial creep, and then you have to adjust it at some point. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at. Like we could use a little more backstay tension for sure, because I'd rather be set up for heavy weather versus light weather. Now when I do that, when I put that backstay tension on, you can't see it from this angle, but what'll happen is the top of that mast will actually, it'll bend back a little bit, which is kind of normal and kind of expected. But let's have a look at the headstay here, and you can see it's, you know, sitting here at rest. And this would, oh, and by the way, this would be perfect for like most of the light weather that we have. But look, that's pretty loose, and the head stays pretty loose too. So I've always probably gone the other direction of have these suckers just way too tight on prior boats. And for the weather around here, which is usually pretty light, having having it eased on the rig is probably fine. But it does affect pointing, and definitely with, you know, with the 15 to 20 knot winds, that's too loose for my liking. So we're gonna tighten it up a little bit. All right, David and I are at Harbor Reef over by the danger reef sign. A bunch of kelp here. It's actually at low tide that you could see a little bit of the reef sticking out of the water. I think this is probably like 6 feet, maybe. I'm just guessing. It's pretty shallow right here. We're kind of right in the kelp. Water's cold. Deep too. So when I came in here Wednesday and anchored, friends are like, wow, you anchored all the way out there by Harbor Reef. You're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, yeah, it's probably gonna fill up and I'm gonna be surrounded by people that aren't very experienced anchoring. Lagoon just pulled up. These guys said they're gonna keep an eye on it. They're gonna come back, and if they need to move it, they'll move it. A little close, we'll do the rangefinder and See how close they are. All right, let's see here. "34 yards. Yeah, I'm not super comfortable with that. All right, it's been a couple of hours. The owners of the catamaran just came back. I just very politely asked them to move. Try and just be as polite as I can. Asked them to move. They said, "Yeah, that's fine, no problem." At the end of the day, I'm happy that they moved. It is too close. I think objectively, like it's too close. If we were in shallow water, I wouldn't be as worried about it. But we're sitting in about 90 feet of water, and I don't think they had all that much scope out. And that catamaran's just, it's not going to swing the same way on the hook as the wind shifts and everything like that. So I mean, it was kind of in their best interest too. And again, like, I tried to be friendly and as polite as possible about it, and they were friendly and polite, and they said, "Sure, no problem." My question is a little bit more of what were they thinking when they anchored there to begin with, because it's just too close, and there's plenty of room out here for them to have more space. Morning, sailors. It's about 5:30 a.m. You can see we're in a completely different spot. I should add that catamaran that I asked to move also did not have an anchor light on last night. About 10 a.m. we still have some gloom here. It's overcast. Not sure if we'll get much sun. I know there's supposed to be fog this morning. Nice view of Cat Harbor. More full than normal. A couple moorings open, so people may have bailed out. I'm sure there'll be some folks that'll come in later this afternoon since it's only Saturday. What a great day hanging out with Debbie and the crew of sailing vessel AeroNautical. Snorkeling was fantastic. I can see Debbie waving on the top deck. Fireworks tonight. I was just listening to the tug that is towed in the fireworks barge. We actually may have one of the best seats in the house. There's the tug with the barge, and they're going to be setting up over here. Okay, not much of a cooking with Killdragger episode, but we're having ribeye off the grill and baked beans. And I probably got enough steak for 4 people, so I cooked some other steak, and I'll be taking some of that home with me. All right, 5:30 and we're hauling up. And then we're hauling ass. Adios, Two Harbors, adios. It's been about 5 days on the hook or so. Wednesday through Sunday. Maybe not quite 5 days total. And considering the usual poop show here at the Isthmus on the holiday weekends and everything, it actually was a pretty great trip. Didn't have any drama. Great fireworks show. And nice visits with sailing vessels, AeroNautical and RiffRaff. We've got 5 knots of true at about 30 degrees apparent. So we're gonna, if it builds up a little bit, we'll lift our sails up, but at this point I think we're going to go ahead and just plan the motor unless the winds get just a little bit better. Seas are super flat, so we're making a good 6.5 knots. And I'm pretty happy with that. Mid-channel updates, 0700. And we've got about 10.6 miles to Angel's Gate. And about over 2.5 miles to the shipping lanes. Visibility's good. You can see all the way across and all the way behind us fairly well. Shipping traffic, there's been a few boats starting to head back, but you know, it's 7 a.m. Chatter on the radio has actually been really quiet, so folks were maybe sleeping in or partying, but I was actually expecting that we'd hear more chatter. We do have a 600-foot tanker coming out of Angel's Gate. We're about 5.5 miles out, so if you see this little ship here on AIS, that's our guy coming out of Angel's Gate. Looked like he was turned into port. Now he appears to be turning to starboard towards us. Now it looks like he's turning to port. Not much. He's already doing 10 knots headed for San Francisco. So the thing we want to watch here, looks like he's already outside of the channel. Is this him? Yeah, so he's already outside of the channel. You see these green buoys there. That's the channel. This guy's already out of it. So he might be making a more pronounced turn to port. And that's what we're going to watch out for, because we've got about a mile CPA. Tanker Mariner is making her turn to starboard, so we're going to pass starboard to starboard. We're just about out of the shipping lane, so we did take 20 degrees to port just to get us across the shipping lane a little bit more quickly. And there's Mariner off to our starboard. Mariner just about a mile off our beam. Saga Welco. That's a cool looking ship.